And we are back here for our final match, the grand finals here of Duckling Showdown 2021. It is going to be a PvZ. It is going to be not the one that we saw earlier today, unfortunately, but fortunately, a new match.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. This is kind of the dream scenario. I wanted a Oceania versus Latin America grand finals here, and I wanted, a matchup that we haven't had a chance to cast yet. These two players avoided each other in the upper bracket, in the lower bracket, and now they face up in the grand finals.
For, I believe, the first time in a competitive setting outside of, custom games and whatnot. But without further ado, let's jump right into our grand finals. It's going to start off on Glittering Ashes. We're in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have our red Protoss player coming down from the land of Australia, that Sydney Aba sort of area. He is, of course, going to be representing our very own CranKy Ducklings. He is the Duck of the Stars. He is StarDuck.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Brazilian Zerg player himself opening up with a very fast pool. Of course he is. It is Erik.
Well, we were promised cheese in that interview, and cheese is what we are getting here. StarDuck scouts it, though.
StarDuck does come across the map and he does scout us, so I'm really curious to see how he's going to approach this, especially because remember StarDuck, he said that he didn't want to play Erik. Oh, he's going for the proxy hatch. Let's go.
The double whammy coming down. This completely messes up any walling potential for a Protoss player, doesn't it?
Oh my god, it really does. But StarDuck is responding nicely. So, as a reminder, we've seen this before, but with a different Zerg player, with Miomaika. And StarDuck, his response typically is that Forge and those cannons to try and hold on and try and defend against the Lings, the oncoming Lings.
Yeah, once again, it seems like all that practice against Miomaika in particular is gonna pay off for our Australian player.
Oh god, exactly. The Lings, they're showing up. The hatchery is still on the way. The Zealot, unfortunately, is a part of the wall, but he's not in position to really swing at any of these Lings.
Yeah, that's what the hatchery is for here, for Erik. No range units yet, and there's not gonna be a range unit, as this gateway will go down. The Lings won't quite be able to make their way inside, thanks to that cannon finishing up. But this does delay a lot of the production of StarDuck. Erik lets it finish, and that's because he wants to creep.
He's doubling down, mate. You thought it was over? Nah, mate. We have spines on the way. And now StarDuck knows, and he had no idea earlier. He's making a goddamn Nexus, when really right now he needs as much army as possible. Hatchery goes down. Queen does get denied.
I love that this is what we're starting our finals with, fight. I gotta tell ya. Probably the most chaotic players on our team, starting things off with pure, I don't want to call it nonsense, I'll call it chaos to be nice.
Yeah. Definitely. Also, massive shout out to StarDuck. I don't know if you noticed, but earlier he threw down a replacement gate. He's working on 0 gates right now. He made a replacement gateway. He canceled for the Nexus instead. He's like, nah, I didn't need it. he's being as greedy as possible, and he's getting away with it. We do have a Stargate on the way as well, and there was no follow-up link flood. Like, StarDuck, he's getting away with the faster Nexus and the tech.
Exactly. I mean, there is really no way for Erik to punish this for the time being, which is exactly why he's starting to drone up now. He has his natural base up. He's even getting a third from here, but StarDuck knows that there's a little bit of breathing room here, a little bit of a rest time, so to speak, where he can just be as greedy as he wants and get his tech.
Yeah, and I love what Erik was just able to do. He even gets us around, but doesn't get the Zealots, but he did take out the Forge, and honestly, that's pretty important. Just because we know from here, StarDuck is going kind of Skytoss-esque, and Forge for cannons are pretty important, so at least Erik was able to just barely snipe that before he got cleaned up.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the very first chapters of the book of how to Skytoss, I suppose. get cannons, get shield batteries, stay on 4 bases for as long as possible.
Yeah, yeah. Again, talking about the interviews, we know that Erik wants to avoid that late game scenario at all, like as much as possible. We'll see if he can do so. Zealots, they come across the map again. Zealots at this stage of the game are kind of useless, so StarDuck, he wants to trade as best he can. Can he snipe the queen? Up, he wants it. Up.
Yeah, Zealots don't do too much, but these Zealots have gotten a ton of value bruising that queen as much as it did. Finally goes down. The Void Ray will be able to make it out of here alive.
Oh yeah, he does manage to escape. He's going to turn around and try and focus down this Overlord, but the queens are in position to try and protect it. Oh, not fast enough.
And Erik will be a little bit supply capped, but not the biggest of deals, I suppose. StarDuck doubling down on Sky Toss.
Yep, throws down a second Stargate for that mass Void Ray style. Also, there was some really cute micro there. I don't know if you noticed, but StarDuck, after killing the Overlord, he deactivated Prismatic Alignment so he could escape. If he didn't do that, and if a lesser player would just leave it on, it would be too slow to escape and it would have just died. So just some little cute moves there. Cute moves there from StarDuck.
Yeah, little things just to keep him ahead in these engagements.
Definitely. Oh boy, meanwhile, +1 air attack is on the way, third base as well, so StarDuck is just trying to ramp up and get into that Sky Toss. Erik, we still haven't really seen too much of a tech commitment from him, like whether he wants to go into Hydras or Aspire, as his lair only just now starts.
Yeah, I'm almost getting worried for Erik here, because StarDuck is doing StarDuck things. He's being as greedy as he can get away with, already working on that third base, and Erik doesn't really have a way to punish this.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's just forced to stay at home. He does go for a bit of a Ling run by. Yo, if he gets the pylon in time, and he will deny one of the warp ins, and he gets us around.
Okay, I take back everything I said earlier on. He will be able to apply a lot of pressure, even forcing all these Void Rays all the way back home. That was a kill, not a cancel.
Yeah, that Ling run by was insane. He got 2 pylons, denied a warp in, and killed a Zealot as well, and forced those Void Rays back home. So Erik is making a lot happen with as little as possible. But despite all that, we still have to respect not just the Void Ray, respect the Fleet Beacon.
We're about to respect the Void Rays even harder. StarDuck gets Flux Veins.
Yeah.
But opposite said to transition immediately into carriers. If I blame him for that one, forces a recall on all of these Void Rays, but despite that, Erik will still kill 8 probes right off the bat.
Yeah, exactly. A beautiful Ling run by. Once again, the Void Rays were completely out of position, forced the recall, and the recall was just a little bit too slow. So again, like these Lings from Erik have been insane, despite the fact that his lair and his tech has been delayed because of his own opener, and he was sustaining a lot of losses early on. Like the Lings have just been beautiful for him.
They absolutely were. Something consistent throughout most of these games I've got to cast of Erik. Ling run-bys are just always spectacular to watch.
Exactly, and StarDuck has been really struggling to keep up. And it's one of those things where if it wasn't for these Lings, these Void Rays would have been out on the map. They would have been denying creep, killing Overlords, maybe picking off some Queens, and 100%, yeah, denying that 4th base. Exactly, but because they're stuck at home because of the Lings, Erik has gotten away with it.
And here comes the anti-air of choice from Erik. 10 mutas are on the way. Already gonna give him a problem, Mutalisks.
Exactly. He has to be careful though. I'm getting a little bit of like Oreo 2000 Atmospheres flashbacks, where he also went for mutas. He went for a harassing force, but after the mutas got cleaned up, like 6 carriers counterattacked and ended the game.
Erik isn't aware of the carriers just yet. Needs to get a couple of Corruptus out at some point in this game.
Yeah, meanwhile, a bit of a Ling run by does reveal the carriers at the 3rd base, so now Erik is well aware. He was able to spot all of them. Meanwhile, the Void Rays are trying to find some damage. I imagine maybe StarDuck wants to go for those gases again. He was trying to get them earlier.
Well, anything to really prevent Erik from getting those Skyzerg units, those very gas-intensive Skyzerg units, I should say.
Yeah, he does get a gas, but he loses a Void Ray for it, so not the best trade, and he doesn't go deep enough, where StarDuck still hasn't scouted the mutas, and that muta cloud, it's getting pretty big.
Oh, yeah. Already got 12, 8 more on the way. That becomes a catastrophe.
Oh, yeah. We're about to have a catastrophe of mutas on our hands with +1 range as well. So with enough mutas, you can just dive in and focus down every single Void Ray. Carriers aren't the best anti-air either, but StarDuck, now he's confident with his carrier count and he's pushing out across the map with his Sky Toss.
And he does have a recall available in case things start to go awry. StarDuck, Erik rather, admittedly not with the best anti-air, but as long as he gets his queens in position, he shouldn't have too much to worry about. The last thing StarDuck wants to do is overextend.
That's the big thing here. We have a lot of queens, a lot of transfuse energy, but where are the mutas? The mutas go across the map instead. We're going into a pseudo base trade. Oh no, they turn around.
Immediately with the 180, and this is buying StarDuck so much time. All the queens are finally going to go down. The mutas. Alright, he actually decides to commit instead. Pounces immediately on top of these on his carrier, trying to force a recall, I imagine, or at least get a base trade.
Yeah, and it looks like StarDuck is going to get that main base kill. He goes for the natural at the same time. He's going to be able to kill everything. And as you said, we are in full base trade mode right now.
We'll see who's able to get ahead in that regard. StarDuck switching gears, starting to produce Phoenixes now to counter the mutas. Instead, Corruptors hatch and immediately die.
Yeah, and now the big question is, like, who can kill the other faster? Oh god, Erik is running out of buildings.
He really is. At any point, StarDuck could turn around and clear out the, or I guess he doesn't even need to, because they will eventually run out of health being off a creep.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the Lings are also wreaking havoc across the map as well, same with the mutas. StarDuck, he's down to 1 base, and that is going to be his natural. Does he have a lot here? He has a single carrier, and 1 carrier is not going to be enough. Oh, overcharge.
Maybe with overcharge. No, even with overcharge. Fortunately, interceptors do not get healed.
Oh yeah, we have a bunch of spores on the way, but they're all going to get taken out as well. And it's one of those things where StarDuck, his main army is just superior. Like, he will win a head-on engagement. The only way that Erik can do this is through that base trade.
And he has enough. He has enough minerals for 1 more hatchery to pop out. Only a handful only a handful of carriers get recalled, and this is exactly what Erik wants. He wants StarDuck to split up his army so he can fight weaker armies at a time.
Nate, that was a game-losing recall. 3 carriers get donated for free. We needed the entire army to come back home, but that just wasn't the case there for StarDuck, and now his army is honestly much weaker than it otherwise would have been.
It's weaker than it otherwise would have been, but at the same time, Erik has lost quite a number of his mutalisks. Will it matter in the end, though, if he's able to kill enough of these buildings? Erik remaking his hatchery. A bit of a questionable position, to be honest, but...
Yeah, like, again, only a single carrier to defend here at home. There are 7 mutas on the map, by the way. 7 mutas available for Erik, and it looks like that's not going to be enough for these 3 remaining carriers at home. And I think StarDuck still has this. It depends.
He has the edge, definitely. He just needs to defend his buildings.
Like, maybe Erik can fight the Void Rays if he has his... Not just the mutas, but also the queens. The mutas, they catch a Void Ray towards the top left.
They do, but the rest of the mutas are getting distracted here. That hatchery is getting dangerously low. Dangerously low. Does force the cancel, but now Erik doesn't have enough to build another hatchery.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because the Void Rays are all dying. Again, StarDuck messed up a little bit there. Once again, splitting up his army. He lost every single Void Ray. He only has these 3 carriers. And again, carriers are limited by minerals, you know? He has to be careful with how he uses those interceptors.
Do you think he could force a draw from here?
I don't think it's going to be a draw. One player's going to win. Who's going to come out on top? The carriers are still dominant in the skies. Erik, he goes for a bit of a run by with his links towards the main base. He catches the hidden nexus.
And he's clearing up the buildings in the main and the natural base as well. Ah, man, Erik... StarDuck rather really wants to win this base trade. I think it's down to 1. I'm pretty sure it is. 1 extractor left.
That's the last gas! Oh, what?
Oh, the
What
creep
is there
tumors.
left?
The creep tumors.
Really?
Apparently, I hit the structure tab and 39
Yeah.
creep tumors. There's no detection here. There's no detection.
What?
Oh no, this one extractor.
Okay.
It was
one
building,
extractor.
it was building.
We were too busy looking at the structures tab. That's why I was like, that's not how StarCraft works. But this is still the last gas geyser. It goes down, and
there's
actually
another one. Oh man, Erik could theoretically win this still.
Oh god, he's going for it.
These are the last couple of buildings.
Yeah, he's going for it. The race, the carrier is about to rock up to that gas geyser. Oh god.
Oh man, this is so tense. This is so tense.
This is all.
And there's actually another extractor being built.
Oh no!
It's a south. Erik is.
StarDuck, can he defend? He cleaned up the mutants. Now there are only lings left. These are the last 3 buildings for StarDuck.
I think this is enough DPS for StarDuck. GG is called. What a way to start our grand finals.
Oh my god.
My heart is pounding right now. StarDuck finds himself on match point after an intense pace race. Jesus Christ.
StarDuck made that closer than it needed to be.
Really did.
He kept splitting up his army. He kept, like, in the most inefficient of ways, and Erik was able to fight again, like a quarter of the army here and there, and make it as close as it was. And Erik,
oh boy.
He was so clutch with those gases, but at the same time, he just barely wasn't fast enough. Barely. Went down to 3 buildings.
3 buildings in the end, yeah. Still can't believe this is how we started our series, our finals no less. Hasn't disappointed. And I want to point out that game started with a proxy hatch.
It did. It really did.
So easy to overlook after all of the craziness that happened.
Crazy, mate. Crazy.
Well, our players are eager. They want to jump immediately into game number 2. I don't, to be honest. I need a second to breathe, but
yeah.
Here we go.
Oh god, the chat's catching up with the gas geysers. They're like, oh my god. It's crazy.
Alright, we are going to be continuing our grand finals here on Berlingrad LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the red Protoss player coming down from the Sydney-Aba sort of area, the land of Australia. He is currently on match point after playing pretty much nothing but Kerrigan survival for these past 2 to 3 months. He is representing our very own CranKy Ducklings. He is StarDuck.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the Brazilian Zerg player, also representing our very own, the CranKy Ducklings. Now on match points, now up against the wall. One more loss and he is out. It is Erik.
Chat just losing their minds as much as we were earlier on. GG's left and right. One of the closest games, period, I think I've ever casted in all my time casting StarCraft 2.
And this game is about to get intense as well because Erik also opened up with I wasn't paying attention because I was distracted by chat. I don't know if it was a 14-14 or 13-12, but yeah, Erik did open up with a gas pool first, but he did just get scattered by this probe, and immediately StarDuck starts the forge.
Indeed. I have to wonder if Erik commits then at this point.
Yeah, we can see that Erik, he pulled out of gas, so he's not going for a Baneling Nest, and he is droning up. So, again, he is transitioning out of this opener, but still a very aggressive opener. Ideally, you want to deal some damage.
Yeah. Well, containing StarDuck on 2 bases can still do a lot, assuming he is able to, It's able to prevent that third from popping up at any point. Yeah, it still has a map control with all of his links here, so yeah, despite not getting too much damage here, Erik also hasn't lost out too much because of his opening.
Yeah. Oh my god, we'll see. So Erik, he as you're saying, he is transitioning from here, does have that map control as you were saying, but StarDuck, now that he has his forge up and running and he's got his defenses, like, he is clear for takeoff. He is clear to go into the Stargate, into even more than one if he wants.
I just realized that, yep. He's clear for takeoff. May as well.
Yeah. To the moon, mate, to the moon.
Stars!
And I was thinking maybe from here Erik can transition into another all-in, like a Roach Warren or something, but no, he's just droning and he's just taking his third base.
Yeah, may as well. Again, he has the map control, so he knows that StarDuck isn't going to be too aggressive on his side just yet. Even if he does go for the Stargate, as you were mentioning, that still takes time, but no, we see something completely different this time.
I love it. +1 melee on the way, and it makes sense. It can be really difficult to make Skytoss work on Berlingrad, right? Like, again, like Queen pushes, they can hit quite hard, which is why we saw StarDuck go for a different style against Orion. This is what I'm talking about. He goes for a Robo, not a Stargate.
Well, may as well make use of that earlier forge, I suppose.
Yeah. I love it. It's not just for cannons, it's also for upgrades.
You mean you could do more with a forge and just get cannons? What?
Not all Protosses believe that, but yeah, it's it's crazy. But Erik, he's on top of his scouting because there's no Void Ray. You know, you cannot deny these Overlords, and Erik sees all the production in the main.
Indeed, he does. He knows exactly what's coming his way. I don't believe he's seen the forge researching just yet, but he can make a pretty educated guess right now that there is going to be some aggression thrown his way. You do not get a robo facility in a ZvP, or in a PvZ rather, unless you intend to use it.
Oh yeah, exactly. The War Prism is on the way. We already have a couple of sentries coming out. This is honestly really nicely timed. +1 is going to finish by the time the army gets across the map. Thankfully, because Erik scattered this, Kura was pointing it out, we do have a Roach Warren already done, so he's getting ready back at home.
6 roaches already in production. Erik has plenty of breathing room before this army hits.
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully, he's not droning up or anything crazy like that. He knows how serious the situation is, and he knows how desperate he is to defend. And because of that, StarDuck shouldn't be dealing too much damage. Sure, he has Immortals on the way, but again, the War Prism shows up, and there is an army to meet him.
The War Prism with sentries. Gotta be honest, I wasn't expecting that to pop out of the War Prism, but yeah, it makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah, and now Erik, he can go for a bit of a counterattack. And now what is there at home to defend? Okay, there's an Immortal, there's shield batteries, there's Overcharge. As long as StarDuck doesn't overextend, like, he should be okay.
Yeah! And he isn't so far. Real good use of the Ravager Biles just to try to take out that cannon as early as possible. Oh! Pretty good Biles on the Sentry, but we still have 3 of them remaining, almost at full energy.
Oh, another Bile does connect with that Sentry, though. These Biles, they just keep getting value. A bit of a missed rally, but okay, StarDuck does recognize it in time, but the Biles keep connecting!
Well, there's only one choke point here. There's only one exit for StarDuck, so yeah, Erik is being very smart with where he Biles, and it means that he gets it means that he gets some damage just about every time.
Yeah, every single time. Finally, the pathway opens up a little bit, but at the cost of the Forge. Void Rays are on the way. Nothing shoots up, but oh god, StarDuck can use those Void Rays now.
Does StarDuck actually have any gateways that he can warp in from?
He threw additional ones in the main base, so he can warp in. The boys are being pulled. Decent micro so far, but the Void Ray, oh god, it almost gets biled.
I tell you what does get biled though, one more of these sentries, actually 2 of them, just the other one didn't die yet. There we go, and there's nothing stopping Erik from holding down that Z key and continuing this momentum. This race is going to go down, and I don't think the main is going to survive much either.
Yeah, exactly. StarDuck, he was in the middle transitioning into double Stargate Void Ray, but it was a little bit too late. The Stargates were too late, and the Roach, I almost said Roach Ravager, the Ravager Ling breaks into the main. Natural's already dead. The damage has already been done, but he's not satisfied. He wants even more.
And he is getting even more.
Exactly, as GG gets called. Erik will not take this line down. It will not be a 3-0. He makes a series out of it.
Fully, yeah. Wow. GG.
GG. And honestly, I was terrified. I was terrified that Erik would be too far behind after his kind of failed opening. But it was Erik who was the one who was able to scout and respond incredibly well to what StarDuck was doing.
Yeah, you just gotta believe the aggression will pay off as long as, you know, he reacts, and as long as he maintains flexible with it, I suppose. It's like, what did he say earlier on when he rematched Oreo? He is now going for not necessarily aggressive builds, but builds that are aggressive but are also stable. Yeah, we can see that really working out for him against StarDuck even here.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, it's like his initial plan wasn't completely all in. You know, he had another plan to fall back on, right? He had transitions available, and yeah. Again, I'm just happy that it's not one-sided. Like, I was honestly really scared. I was like, no, don't make it a 3-0. Not like this. Not like this.
I believe. And with that, we are going into game number 3 and hopefully game number 4 after this. Let's get a full game series here.
Yeah. We all want to see an ace match. That's what we all want. Can we get it? That is the question.
I believe.
I believe as well. Does the chat believe? I wonder, as, just quickly checking. Votes are in favor of Erik.
Oh, yeah, we've actually got 2 votes for StarDuck and 2 votes for Erik right now, but let's just say that the Erik voters are a little bit more confident, so to speak. As we continue our series on Hotwire LE, we're in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of Sydney Abba, sort of around that area. He is going to be representing our very own CranKy Ducklings as the Duck of the Stars. He is our player mascot, question mark. Definitely the most fitting name for a player on our team. He is StarDuck.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Brazilian Zerg player. Again, representing the one, the only, the CranKy Ducklings, it is Erik. Going for the same opener.
As he promised.
Yep, just like the previous game, he opened up with a very quick pool and gas, going to be prioritizing that link speed. And just like last game, StarDuck, he scouts, and we should be seeing a forge.
Keeping my eye on this probe, keeping my eye on the production tab. No, and so we see a second gateway coming up.
Oh.
And a cyber core from here. That's a full wall.
Yeah. Full wall. Okay. Approaching the defense a little bit differently this time.
And by full wall, does it need to be plugged up, or because I'm actually a little concerned that he may have to kill one of the gateways later on.
Well, I mean, not if you go Sky Toss.
Okay, he can plug up that hole. Yeah, it's not a full wall.
Yeah, it's all good.
Know what I mean?
It's all good. He chronoed out his Zealot to make sure that it was there. And, you know, the Lings do show up, and they're going to be able to chip away at the Cyber Core, but as long as the micro is good enough, StarDuck should be okay.
Should.
Oh, and I kind of like this response. Again, as long as things don't go awry, with 2 Adepts, you can not only defend, but you can immediately counterattack. So it's a much more active way of defending against this opener.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to underestimate the target fire potential of Adepts on drones. It's yeah, just like you said, a really good way of swinging the balance of this game, so to speak, swinging the pendulum, and suddenly getting StarDuck ahead instead of Erik. But we'll see, we'll see.
Yeah, that all depends on the damage that is dealt, because there we go, 2 Adepts are going across the map, and we saw how much damage Adepts can do, especially in the series of StarDuck versus Oreo. There's only a Zealot, no Adept, so that Cybercore, it's getting, it's getting low.
And the Adept pops up in the wrong side of the wall!
Oh god, it's gonna be close! Oh, the Cybercore! Oh god!
Erik doesn't turn around to target, or to surround the Adept. The Cybercore surprisingly lives.
It does survive. Meanwhile, the Adepts are across the map. Lings are popping out, and it looks like they're going to come out just in time to take out one of these Adepts. So the one-shot potential is not there.
Yeah, there's some 2-shot potential, though. And just like that, StarDuck gets 1 drone.
Oh, yeah.
Not the biggest of deals.
1 drone and a bit of a scout. You know, at least the Adepts, they paid for themselves, right? They were necessary earlier to defend, and at least StarDuck is able to keep that Cybercore alive. I think Erik wants it, though.
Yeah, Warbrigade is done in about 10 seconds.
He wants
so
it.
low, it's so low. 5 seconds! 3, 2, 1! They died! Literally at the last millisecond!
Oh my god.
That is painful!
Oh my god. Cybercore has to be rebuilt. The gateways are basically inert at this point. No warp gate. Oh my god.
But at the very least, we do have 1 Stargate that is producing Void Rays. This is such a massive wrench in StarDuck's plans, though.
Mate, that was less than a second away. That was less than a second.
And now Erik's got full map control. He double expanded pretty early on. He's doing nothing but droning now. What is StarDuck gonna do? Harass?
Exactly.
He's got another harass whiff. He got warp in.
He's only got Void Rays to harass with, and Erik, he is not stopping that Queen production, so he should be able to have Queens in position to defend against it. And StarDuck opts to go for, oh, never mind. He started an Oracle, opts to cancel it, and goes for another Void Ray instead.
He also gets a earlier 3rd base from here. Little bit of a risk right now if you're StarDuck. He has, you know, we're well aware that Erik still has Zerglings out and has the potential to make more, but he's hoping that this 1 Void Ray will be enough to strike fear into Erik's heart, and for now it is.
For now, the Void Ray does move out. And I'm gonna try and find some damage. There's still plenty of creep here. The 3rd base is fine. We got the Spore up. Does get a drone though.
Okay, and he keeps the Void Ray alive as well. We'll be meeting up with another Void Ray, I suppose. Doubling down on the Sky Toss.
Oh my god.
And this is almost fate telling StarDuck, you're not meant to go Gateway style this time, so may as well get a Fleet Beacon, get a 2nd gate. Stargate, I mean.
Yeah, may as well. I love it, the way that he focuses these gases. Again, a very smart way to approach this. A very safe way as well to deal some damage. And we've seen it before. StarDuck, I imagine he wants to go into those carriers. I don't think we've seen him lose with them, by the way.
Not yet. But with how this game has been shaping up for Erik, I think this is going to be a first, at least for the evening.
It's possible, mate. It's possible. Like, Erik's economy has so far been left, for the most part, untouched. We do have a Spire on the way. I do worry if he goes Mutas again, because it feels like StarDuck wants to go up against Mutas whenever he does this. Like, he did kind of speak a little bit about it in his interview after Oreo.
And he did. He just prefers to let the Mutalists do whatever they want. I mean... It even happened in that series against Oreo itself, right? Oreo poked the bear a little too much, and StarDuck moved across the map with all of his carriers. There was nothing. Oreo had to stop him, and hopefully we won't get something similar this time. Erik doing Erik things and sending as many run-bys as he can get away with.
Oh boy. Meanwhile, Erik, he's here with his Lings once again. We've seen these Lings make wonders happen. And once again, they dive on top of that shield battery. Shield battery is going to go down. So is the cannon. But can they get any probe kills?
Oh, it's not looking too likely. As the Void Rays turn around, there were even some safety Adepts in the mineral line.
Yeah, and the shield batteries are being rebuilt. So StarDuck, he defends beautifully. But again, the Void Rays had to come back home, which means Erik is free to expand and take that 4th base.
Just like so. Unfortunately, though, still, I don't believe has eyes on these carriers, so a lot of mutants are coming out, and there's still plenty of harass potential on these mutalists, but they need something a bit more substantial in terms of anti-air if he wants to fight these carriers.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes, because this is not the first time we've seen this series. Again, this is kind of what led to a base trade previously. But this time, the mutas, they're diving on in. What do we have at home to defend? The cannons are not done. They're not ready.
Not at all! Mutalist dive on top of just about everything. We'll be able to kill that cannon. Not actually getting too many probes, which is kind of surprising that Erik doesn't chase them down, but...
Oh, but the Lings! The Lings!
That's why he didn't chase them down, yeah! And now he has eyes on the carriers. He knows exactly what he has to deal with for the rest of the game. He's just distracting as many of these carriers as possible. The probes starting to turn around. The mutas, unfortunately, not in position to take advantage of that.
Yeah! Like, despite all of this aggression, you brought it up. StarDuck barely lost any probes. He barely lost anything, period. He just lost cannons at his 3rd base and cannons at the natural. Like, just nothing but stacked defense, essentially. So, because of that, the Void Ray count and the carrier count is getting pretty high.
Exactly. There's a certain point for Protoss where you're throwing down stacked defense under the assumption that you're going to lose it eventually. But because you lose the stacked defense, you're not losing workers or much of your economy.
Exactly, especially because now we're about to have 8 carriers. Ooh, a bit of a Ling run by though, and this time the Lings get in, and without any cannons, finally, some workers are gonna fall. Maybe? Maybe?
The batteries are pretty good still.
Oh my god. How? How? Lings will get cleaned up at the same time. Mutas tried to hit the 3rd base, but there was enough of an army left there. They ran into carriers. They couldn't deal with any of them either. And StarDuck defends once again.
And now I'm starting to get even more worried for Erik because he hasn't produced any Corruptors yet. He's still producing more and more Mutalists. StarDuck not only has his economy not taken too much damage, but his carriers have been completely untouched. Here comes that damage we all wanted, though.
Finally, there we go. 13 probes, almost an entire mineral line goes down. And StarDuck, despite how well he was defending, in the end it wasn't enough. And now things are ramping up. Right, that muted cloud has been getting higher and higher. Bailing run by towards that 3rd base. Doesn't matter how much stack defense you have, damage is going to be done.
Man, it almost feels like killing all of those probes unlocked some inner gateway in Erik where it's like, yes! Now is the time to double down on all of the aggression. I'm getting Banelings out. I'm going to crash them into your Nexus while I still have all of these mutas absolutely wreaking havoc here. I can get my Hive back at home. I can work on Infestors back at home. There's nothing stopping me now.
I just hope he has them, because here we go. The Banelings, they crash on forward. StarDuck, he does respond incredibly quickly. The stack defense gets cleaned up, but again, the probes escape.
I'm very surprised Erik didn't decide to just crash all the Banelings into the Nexuses. I feel like that would have been... that would have at least killed the Nexus, right?
Maybe. Nexus does survive in the end, so do the majority of the workers. But now StarDuck is getting ready to counterattack. Sure, you may be thinking his supply isn't looking too high. I mean, he's down in workers. He is up in army. He still has a lot of carriers, a lot of Void Rays. Is it going to be enough? Is the Death Bolt there?
Not only is he up in army, but what shoots up right now for Erik? The Mutalists are diving on top of a couple of carriers here, which is nice to pick off. I kind of hope we don't get another base race scenario. I don't know if my heart can take it, Light.
I was about to say, mate, get ready to say it again, because we are going full base trade mode. A lot of Queens and Spores. I love the forethought by Erik. He's getting ready for the carriers, but it looks like it may still not be enough. The carriers are still just so many of them.
There are, but a lot of interceptors are starting to go down.
Yeah.
StarDuck really doesn't have much of an economy left. Microbial Shroud is doing so much to keep all of these Queens alive, and the Fungals on top of the interceptors are preventing so much DPS as well. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Erik is completely cleaning up that main base.
Mate, Erik does the impossible. He attacks and he defends at the same time. Erik breaks into the main. Meanwhile, the carriers alone were not enough to break through the Spores, the Queens, and the Fungals, the Microbial Shrouds.
Yo, Erik's Hive is gonna go down. But he still has an economy to work with. StarDuck is down to 1 probe on 1 base, and he doesn't even have enough to remake a Nexus. Carriers get recalled, but where are the interceptors?
Oh, we still have
Erik has realized.
Yeah, and you know what? Erik, before he backs off, he snipes the Nexus. There we go. He dives on top of the carriers. 1, 2 carriers will fall. And again, Erik, he's rebuilding an army. He's rebuilding those mutants.
I love seeing this from Erik. He realizes just about everything that went wrong for him in game number 1. He's recognized that, and now he's working to sort of fill in those holes. He should take this game.
Mate, we are getting what we wanted. GG gets called. Erik fights back. Erik adapts. And we are going to that ace match.
Serious does not disappoint whatsoever. And this is exactly what we wanted, isn't it? I mean, we're determining who exactly is our mightiest duck. There needs to be a really good fight for that.
Yeah. Oh my god. GG, well played. This is what we all wanted. This is what we all deserve here in the grand finals. Ace match. It's all going to come down to this last final game.
1 map. Not to rule them all, not to be the fairest of all, but to decide it all, to determine it all. Who exactly is the mightiest duck?
Exactly, man. Who's the crankiest duck, man?
Oh, Steel.
Oh god, Steel. He's the boldest duck, mate. That's what he is.
He's. Are we all the dwarves? We're about to determine who's the mightiest duck.
I should say he's the boldest. He's also the oldest. He's the
oldest duck. Yeah. Kuro is the ... est duck ? Question mark.
The production duck.
The production duck. Yeah. There we go. The produciest duck of them all.
There you go, mate. There you go. And again, who's the crankiest? Who's the mightiest? We're gonna find out. Ooh, this map was not vetoed. It's gonna be Pride of Altaris.
This is what it all comes down to. This, of all maps, is what is going to determine the fate of the Ducklings.
Who will hold that Duckling crown, at least until the next Duckling Showdown? Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Latin America or Oceania? Zerg or Protoss?
Oceania won last year. Maybe this time it's time for LATAM to show up.
True. That's why we got the best Latin American Zerg player here. Exclamation mark, we're not a cham.
You know what? At some point, we need to arrange Erik versus Mio, because apparently they're the exact same.
Yeah, true.
One of them's Brazilian, one of them's Vietnamese. Alright, here we go, folks. This is what everything comes down to. We're at the grand finals. We're at the final map. We're at the ace match of our grand finals. And it's going to be on Pride of Altaris, LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, swatting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Australia, that Sydney Abba sort of area. He has been training very, very hard these past couple of months in Kerrigan Survival. Representing a very own CranKy Ducklings. He is StarDuck.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, but with drones all over the place, we have the Brazilian Zerg player going for the proxy hatch at the natural of StarDuck and also going for his own gold base. It is Erik.
See a forge response coming up from StarDuck here. Little does he know, though, that it's not just a proxy hatch, but a diversion here. Distract him from the real issue of his gold base.
This look, Zerg players in the chat. This is how you ZvP, all right? This is how you do it. You go for the proxy hatch. You force some lost mining time. You force a reaction from your opponent. But joke's on you, I don't really intend to commit to the hatchery. I don't intend to Ling Flood or anything. It's just there to throw a spanner in the works so I can take my own goal.
Get out of here with all these Warsaw subways and whatnot. StarDuck has the right response here, or does he? He has the right response, but at the wrong base.
You say that it's going to be a proxy Stargate. The Cybercore's about to finish up. Oh, does he see? Does the Overlord? The Overlord sees!
The Overlord sees. Yeah, he knows. He's well aware. Doesn't know about a potential Stargate coming up here.
Oh, it's a Robo! It's not a Stargate. It's the other one.
It's the Protoss building, yeah.
So we have a proxy Robo across the map. Meanwhile, Erik, he's not done with his proxy hatch. We have another one in the main base. But Erik, okay, he's checking. He's checking to see what's proxied.
And has he confirmed? He does confirm that a Robo facility is up and on the way right now. Should be seeing a couple of... There we go. The Rotorn does get thrown down. A couple of spine crawls here to really clinch the defense.
Yeah, and I hope Yoda in the chat's not disappointed. I know we didn't see a 12 pool, but maybe we got the next best thing. Maybe something even better with all these proxy hatches. StarDuck, the big thing is that I don't know if he knows that he's been scouted yet. And he, again, like, because of the hatchery, like, his economy is affected by this. Like, it does kind of slow things down. I'm sure he would have wanted to start that Immortal a little bit sooner.
He really would have, but that Immortal is going to be up before Erik has Ravagers. Do believe. So it's still going to be very threatening right now for Erik. Cancels that hatchery right on time. It's honestly really important to get these cancels. When you're working on a Ninja Gold base and you're up against a Robo facility.
The thing is, again, the gold is huge. Like, he's got so much resources to work with, so many minerals, I should say, to work with. He can afford to consistently, like, cancel these hatcheries. Meanwhile, the Immortal is done, but StarDuck is still not pushing up into the main base. He's waiting for that Warp Prism, and then it's going to be all about his control.
And we'll see how well he's able to maneuver with that. Erik only with a single queen to try to zone out this Warp Prism, but sometimes that's all you really need if you have enough Ravagers on the ground.
Oh god, here we go. Void Ray does start shedding away at some of these queens. Decent damage so far, but no kills. Again, we have plenty of Roach Ravager here on top of that ramp. Meanwhile, StarDuck has to work on this outpost. Here we go. Shield batteries on the way. Gateways on the way as well. But it's still looking pretty bare bones.
Oh,
it does.
I really thought for a sec StarDuck might be able to scout the gold, but
he's seen it.
He
knows.
Oh, does he now? Okay.
Yeah. Oh my god, it looks like he's just given up on it. Oh god, he turns around. The Immortals were out of position.
They were so many corrosive battles getting thrown down on these shield batteries. There's not much of a resting point left. Queens get transfused. The Immortals are getting very, very low.
Yeah. Like, these Immortals are trading so well. Imagine if they were fighting with the shield battery and with a cannon. Like, you know, like, if they were here when the fight started, like, it would have been easily in StarDuck's favor. But, oh my god.
Files do not land quite yet. And has StarDuck traded well enough to keep pushing? Apparently not. As he turns around, opts instead to try to deal with this gold base, and there's no defenses here.
Oh, there's not even a queen. Oh my god. What I will say is that StarDuck traded. He fought so well, by the way. Like, with his Warp Prism micro, that was insane. I was saying that it could have been easier. It could have been easier if he was in position, but despite that, he still fights so well. Now he has to turn back around. Again, the Roach Ravager, it's here. He wants to shut down the Robo.
And there's so many backup pylons. I honestly doubt whether or not he'll be able to do so. Warp Prism turns around. And the Immortals are still very, very threatening. Erik, his Roaches are still on the way. The Biles don't quite land.
Yeah, StarDuck, he just needs to send one unit over towards that gold base. Like a gateway unit, just send a Stalker, but he doesn't even care. He wants to try and end the game. He wants to break the main.
And I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do so. I mean, Erik has so much to work with in his main base. Not so much in the other bases right now. He gets a really good natural concave on top of the Immortals. It's all gonna come down to the Warp Prism control!
He loses one of the Stalkers. The Immortals are still standing strong, but they're getting so low. There's only one Immortal with decent health. One Immortal goes down!
It's just 2 remaining. Another Immortal will pop out to replace that very, very soon. And once again, Erik has been losing a decent amount of his Ravagers here. It may be fine though, because he's resumed mining from that gold base.
Oh my god, pick him up, no, the boss land!
And he's back down to... And he's back down to 2 Immortals. May as well be 1 Immortal here. The other one really doesn't have enough health to get in position to fight.
StarDuck, he had some momentum, but a little bit of miscontrol there, to be honest. Meanwhile, here we go. Finally, StarDuck, he sends 2 Stalkers towards that gold base. Again, that's all you needed. Meanwhile, the War Prism's not here to protect the Immortals.
And honestly, I think this may be the game-winning move right now for Erik. No recharge available to restore that battery. His Immortal will go down, and with it, the entire backbone of StarDuck's army. He's going to try to warp in as many Stalkers as possible, but Stalkers aren't quite the same as Immortals, to say the least.
Like StarDuck, he never had to send his Warp Prism towards the gold. Like, it was his mistake. He does shut down all the mining at the gold base, to be fair. But again, he only needed to send the units, and without that Warp Prism, the Immortal count was reset. But now it's getting back up, and now Erik is on 1 base economy.
He's less than 1 base economy. He only has 15 workers, and he's mining gas as well. He's very badly supply blocked too. If Erik is gonna win this game, he has to win it now. Because if 1 more Immortal gets out after this one, Erik should have StarDuck rather should have way too much for Erik to deal with.
The Immortal
Queens are transfusing so well, honestly. The War Prism goes down, and with that, there is no more micro potential for StarDuck. Everything is gonna fall from here, and it looks like we have our answer. Like, who among our players is the mightiest duck?
Exactly, mate. The Immortal count, the entire army of StarDuck falls here. The soon-to-be 1 Immortal, but nah, mate. It's a little bit too late for that. Erik, he still held on to his hatchery, by the way, his gold hatchery, and he's redroning.
Yo, I'm looking at that army supply difference right now, like, and it's looking so high in the favor of Erik. StarDuck has an opportunity right now to transition out. I say that, but he's just lost all of his production. Erik just needs to realize if he goes across the map, he can win this. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing at home. There's a single cannon holding the line here. StarDuck, he's forced to try and expand. He's working on a Nexus. He's working on a Stargate for Void Rays. But as you said, Erik, there's a big window here where he can just attack across the map and end the game. He does need to be careful not to trickle in his units. Getting a little bit distracted by this 1 Stalker. Yeah. Honestly, that was pretty important. That pulls away the attention of a lot of those roaches. Like, it distracts Erik for a moment. Every moment's important. The Stargate finished. First Void Rays on the way. Is that Nartosis pylon? It is Nartosis pylon. It's Nartosis pylon. It's powering everything. Well, just a couple of well-placed biles will be enough to completely shut everything down. Not even at that. Nice control, though. One of the Ravagers gets picked off. There's only 3 remaining, and it's going to take them a while to break through and get past this cannon. Did those biles miss everything? Oh, God. Void Ray shows up. StarDuck defends. Yeah, so anti-air. Funny how that works out. It's still one of those things where, yeah, the Cyber Core is going to be targeted down by Erik. And even though the Void Rays will keep StarDuck alive from here, like, Erik should have plenty of time to work on his queens and work on his lair. Absolutely, especially since he's getting another expansion up from here. Resumed mining as well. So yeah, not wanting to take any unnecessary risks, I suppose. Erik, I mean, he could have ended the game there, though. Yeah. Let's be real. Oh, God, like, maybe if he committed to a queen walk. But yeah, in the end, StarDuck, he's doing the best that he can. And again, we've seen StarDuck come back from worse. Absolutely. Just give this fella a couple of Void Rays, and he can work absolute wonders. Queens are trying their best to take out the Void Rays, but they're not quite getting them. Oh, God. It's around. Yeah, but 2 more about to show up. StarDuck, he needs to get out of here, and it looks like he barely... Oh, my God. He escapes with both. 1 HP. Jeez. Can I reiterate, by the way, I love that we're getting this as our ace match in the finals. Complete nonsense left and right.
Oh god, StarDuck is kind of stabilizing. I say kind of, like Erik, because of the goal base, is still far ahead. Like that gold is doing so much for Erik right now.
But I tell you what, StarDuck is doing a really good job of selling the story of, yes, I have nothing left, I have to rely solely on these Void Rays. That's not the case here, as we can see. He's transitioning out, getting a ton more gateways, and if Erik isn't careful, this could catch him completely off guard and completely counter the unit composition he's going to go for.
Definitely. Meanwhile, StarDuck slipped up a little bit there. He ended up losing one of his Void Rays. Ay. But as you're saying, Erik hasn't scouted. He hasn't gone for a follow-up scout, so he doesn't know what's coming his way. I'm sure he's just anticipating just massive Void Ray, which would make plenty of sense. And, I mean, Void Rays are on the map. But the charge is what's important.
Absolutely. StarDuck still doing a fantastic job of keeping Erik outside of his main base. The lair is done now. And there we go, the Spire is on the way. That, I think, is the one building that will be effective against both sky and ground here.
Oh yeah,
no matter what StarDuck goes for from here on out.
Insane, man. Mutas would be absolutely insane if they are able to come out. I mean, it's still on the way. StarDuck looks like he's getting ready for Archon. So Charge Archon is going to be on the table for him. But before we get too ahead of ourselves when it comes to army composition, I mean, it still does kind of come down to the fact that StarDuck has been stuck on 2 bases. He needs to get a third.
Yeah, Archons are pretty good against Mutas. Chargelets are pretty good against Ravagers and Lings. But at the end of the day, Erik can lose an engagement and still rebuild, especially when the wall is not a wall and the Lings are able to slip on in.
The wall was the Tarsus pylon that we were talking about. It's going to come into play. He's trying to target it down.
Oh, surprisingly he isn't able to get it.
Jesus, that's even more of an Tarsus pylon than it was before, by the way.
Oh, it really is. It's even more production that one pylon has to support right now. Erik didn't quite get into the main base, but he sees a mass warp in of Zealots. He knows that it's a transition to ground toss.
Mate,
and he's working on his spines.
6 spines are on the way. Erik knows about the impending doom, the impending counterattack. He's getting ready, and as soon as StarDuck sees this, he's got to back off. There's no way, you can't commit to this fight.
But he's gonna try to anyway. Immediately loses all of his charge slots, loses even more Void Race here. He'll lose a Archon. Keeping it alive. All right, keeps it alive.
Keeps it alive, but he lost so much in that attack. All of his Zealots, a Void Ray, I think, as well, and oh god.
I mean, just look at the army supply difference.
Yeah.
That's all you really need to know. 17 Mutas on the way, and that is just about going to be the final nail in the coffin. StarDuck's trying to transition out of this and trying to stabilize with a third base, but it's way too little, way too late at this point.
And it's one of those things where sometimes the soup lies, but here it does not lie, mate. Erik and Mutas are going to be as you said, the nail in the coffin. StarDuck is trying to get a third base up and running, trying desperately, and if he is able to, and if he's able to get it saturated and all that stuff, then he's going to be okay. But like, mate, we're just huffing on copium at that point. Like, that's
pretty much.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm getting my supply ready. I'm trying to be as optimistic as I can, but it ain't working out. Either I built up a resistance to copium, or we're in really dire, or StarDuck is in really dire straits.
Yeah. I mean, what I do love is the amount of Archons. Because of that, Erik cannot fight this head-on with his Mutas, just because of the sheer amount of splash damage available. But he doesn't have to fight the main army. He can dance between them, and he can just go into a mineral line.
Yeah, he's diving around. He's trying to get as much harass as possible. It'd be funny if we get another base race in this series, but this time I really don't think StarDuck has enough to initiate that. GG is called, and Erik will be crowned the mightiest duck in the land, in the pond, I should say. Very well played. GG. Man, what more could we really ask for our finals here?
GG, well played. What a madman. This man started off the series down 0-1 because he came from the lower bracket. Yeah.
He basically got the reverse sweep.
Pretty much, mate. Pretty much. He also started from the lower bracket as well. He got knocked down by Oreo, but that did not stop him. He came back hard. He did it for all los Latino Americans in the chat, for Cosmos casting as well.
He stayed up so late for this too.
He did.
And he made it worthwhile for himself, for us here, for all of Latino America. That was one of the best of fives I think I've ever casted.
Oh god, GG, well played. It's great to see that Erik has still got it. What a wild ZvP as well. Again, it's kind of what we expected, an ultra aggressive style from our Zerg player. You know, he warned us about it coming into the series, and speaking of, here he is, our grand champion, our crankiest duckling. Congratulations and welcome, Erik.
Thank you.
Fala galera! Oh god, congratulations, man! Yo, we were scared. Like that was an intense series.
It was, especially the last game.
Yeah. The last game, the base trade, papi, the base trade
one. Yeah, that one too.
Pretty much.
Oh god, I yeah. Talk to us, mate. Like, what was going through your mind throughout this series, you know, and how it turned out, and how the matches turned out as well.
The first game, I thought it was going pretty well, but then I decided to make those upgrades for the links, and I just didn't have enough mutants to do anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I'm going to don't do cheeses with mutants afterwards, I'm just gonna skip everything and just go for mutants, and that's it.
Well, it looks like it worked out for you here.
Yeah, it makes sense. Oh god,
man.
Yeah.
I apologize. I'm still trying to calm down for just how close the entire series was. I can't imagine how it feels for you having to play that. We were just casting that.
Yeah. The first game was pretty intense. The other ones, I felt every single one was under control, with the exception of the last one that I thought was under control, and then I just didn't control correctly my drones on the go, and lost like 8 drones to stalkers. But the other ones, I thought I was in a pretty good position.
Yeah, I have to ask you about that Pride of Altaris game. Is this something you do often in ZvP?
It's actually a build that Dark did a long time ago when Blackburn was just in the pool. And he went with the hedge first on the other side of the map. He went with hedge first on his natural and just went for a Linga win. So I just got it and made some few adaptations.
Yeah, just updating it for 2020 as we move forward.
Basically.
Yeah, really well played. I also wanted to touch on not just this series but also the previous one, because we didn't really get to talk much about it, because I just remembered. I was really curious about your series versus Oreo as well. Mate, there was that one game where you went roaches into hydras. What is that? Is that something you do often? We had some solid question marks going through our head when you went for that, and the hydra upgrades as well, without any lurkers.
Yeah, that was basically a wild counter to Mutus. When I go for that roach king pressure build, normally I have a 2-base timing that I can hit with roach hydra. That actually kills a lot of multiplayers, or did like 6 or 7 months ago. But that was the idea, but yeah, I don't know why. It felt like he was going Mutus, but then he just changed his mind, I'm not sure.
Okay, because like...
Fair enough, yeah. It makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense.
We understand a lot now.
Oh, God. Oh, right. Cosmos wants to ask a question here. He's asking, he wants to know what you were thinking. I believe it was for that last game when you were proxy hatching, but then when you saw the cannons in your natural base.
I thought I was in a really good position because when you proxy hatch, especially when you proxy hatch that early, you force the Protoss to or pull the probes or make cannons on his base, and that delays the proxy, the shield batteries, and everything else a lot on the front. And especially considering I was going for the gold, it is really good to just delay his push as much as possible.
Yeah, it did feel like you were in. You even said it yourself. You were in like complete control, right? You know, you had your Roach Warren on the way. You were already getting prepared for what was coming, and you scouted it as well with your Overlord. So, yeah. Really well done.
Get that knowledge, get that power, I suppose. And we do have a question coming up here from Kuro, actually, wanting to ask, are you actually Miyomika? Because there have been some comparisons made here.
Do you wait? Hold on. Do you know who Miyomika is? Are you familiar with him?
I know who Miyomika is. Yes. Even played a few games against him on Age of Empires.
Oh. Okay, makes sense. So when we were talking to Oreo for his interviews, like we were asking him about you, and he said that your ZvZ reminds him a lot of Miyomika. You know, very aggressive, very chaotic. Because Miyomika is a popular player in our region. So we wanted to ask you, like, do you have a lot of experience with Miyomika? Is that intentional? Like, if you've ever played against him before, like, have you looked at his style and?
I actually saw a few of his games, but I never copied him or anything. The idea behind all of my matchups is basically having a base build that I go macro and have a bunch of builds around that look the same but lead to vastly different outcomes. So every single build that I think and every single build that I try to play is going around that play style. So I have a bunch of variations of 12 pull, I have a bunch of variations of 15 pull, I have a bunch of variations of 15 hatch, and the idea is just to try to mind game the opponent as much as possible.
Yeah.
I love that, yeah. Have a very nice solid foundation and just build from there.
Yeah.
Little mutations or adaptations there.
It's great to hear that thought process, and Miyomika does that a lot as well. Like, he's all about the mind games. He's the kind of player who throws down a Spire and it gets scouted and he never makes mutas or like stuff like that. Like he's always throwing down and mixing up tech and hitting really awkward timings. But yeah, again, just congratulations, Erik, on a really wild run. It was great to see you rise back up from the ashes, from that lower bracket. And it was great seeing you play StarCraft again, because it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, good luck on that Age of Empires tournament that you have in how many hours now?
It's actually in 13 or 14, something like that.
Okay, so I'm hoping you get some rest before then.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna get some rest before then.
Yes. For the people in the chat who are wondering, Erik is going to be playing in the Age of Empires Pro League tournaments in, as you said, 13 hours. So, of course, we're going to be there. We're going to be cheering for you as best we can. I know you're going to be playing with Kelazur and State, which is like an all-star StarCraft team. So, yeah, we're going to be cheering hard for you.
Thank you. I hope we can win the entire tournament.
Yeah, well, you already got some momentum going on from tonight.
Yeah.
Let's carry on this win streak, man. We're cheering for you.
Those StarCraft mechanics again for the age games.
Yeah, let's go. I guess the last thing I wanted to say is now that you've won this and you have proven you are the best Duckling out of all of our players here today, has that in any way like reinvigorated you a little bit? I know you've been having a lot of fun with Age of Empires, and I know you're still going to be there for Dream Hacks as well. But are we going to see you maybe dip a little bit more into StarCraft? Maybe.
It's a possibility as long as something changes in ZvP, because it's really not fun playing against that for like 2 straight years. So the other matchups are really cool. ZvT, even if it's the same matchup since 6 years ago, it's still really fun, and the mind games in ZvZ are really cool too. But ZvP just makes me wanna not play StarCraft.
Understandable, for being honest.
Yeah, that's fair. I know a lot of people have had problems with ZvP, and hopefully something changes. Maybe I know everyone's been even recently. A bunch of people have been posting their own patch notes to maybe think about changing some things about StarCraft. Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. The other exciting thing about StarCraft is, I don't know if you saw, it was announced today that Home Story Cup and TSL are going to be a part of the EPT Pro Circuit. And that may mean that they will have regional qualifiers for them, like Oceania, Latin America, and stuff like that. So if that's the case, then even more opportunities to, like maybe even travel, because LANs are coming back. LANs.
Woo! Yeah, that's really good. Everyone misses LANs, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Plenty of good things to look forward to in 2022.
And with that, thank you so much for joining us here, Erik. We really appreciate it. We wish you the best in not just your next tournament, but all your tournaments in Age of Empires 4 and StarCraft. We're always going to be here to support you. I'm sure Cosmos is going to be as well. I don't know if he's been casting some AoE. Maybe you can let us know. But
I think he has, and he's even going to try to cast a tournament tomorrow.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
We'll be there. We'll be there in Cosmos' stream.
Nice.
We'll be spamming Fala Galera.
Yes, that's all the Portuguese we know. Oh god. Yes, congratulations. Well played, and yeah, you're our champion, mate. You're our champion.
Thank you.
Mightiest
Am I going to get a trophy eventually?
I'll draw you one in MS Paint. I should have gotten one ready in preparation, but yeah, don't worry, we'll get that.
One in Paint. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for just playing in this and staying up and whatnot. Yep.
Oh
mate. Boy.
Yeah, what a tournament, man. What a tournament we've had today. Again, I know there were some people asking about it, but yes, unfortunately we couldn't have all of the CranKy Ducklings. If you're wondering, Ryu was missing. Honestly, I feel like two really strong Ducklings are missing, Ryu and Patty Mac, and they could have changed a lot here. We will try and host another tournament with everyone else involved. I think this has been a lot of fun. But Ryu, unfortunately, he is out with his family. He's not at home and doesn't have access to a computer. Because it's still, the holidays, he is out on vacation with the rest of his family.
Yeah. Patty Mac as well, unfortunately, couldn't be here today. There was a scheduling conflict with his class, I believe?
Yeah, with classes. Yeah. It was one of those things where Patty Mac was like, he also isn't available. He said that, like, even if this was rescheduled to tomorrow, he would have to play, like, on his Mac. And he's like, that would
that is painful. I don't even want to think about having to do that.
Yeah. So, on his Patty Mac? Oh, God, Kira, no. Stop. So, unfortunately, we were missing two of our Ducklings, but we'll try and host another tournament like this again, and hopefully have everyone come in and everyone be involved.
Absolutely. Something else to look forward to as we continue the 2022. That was Duckling Showdown 2021. Honestly, what a year it's been for us. I mean, really very much a milestone year, I would say, not just for the CranKy Ducklings organization itself, but for our players, especially achieving some of their tournament highs here. For you as well, I'm sure, Light. For me, it's been pretty huge, casting a lot of dream hacks and whatnot. Let's keep this going for another year, at least.
Yeah, Yeah, 2021 was one of our biggest years, with what we were able to accomplish and with what we were able to cover and cast, like DreamHack, as you were saying, and TSL, and we were even a part of King of Battles, and like we've been able to provide a lot of coverage for everyone. So I hope everyone has enjoyed what the CranKy Ducklings have been able to do when it comes to casting, and I hope you have also enjoyed our players as well. That's why we wanted to host this tournament, is to show off the personality of our players, because not all of them stream too often, and they're great guys, and that's why we wanted to host all these interviews as well. Like, we wanted people to get a better idea and become fans.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that they've earned a lot of fans here coming in from our stream, Cosmos' stream as well. I'm hoping as much exposure as we can get on these guys.
Exactly, and we're gonna keep on trying to do that for our players. We love our players, but we're still a relatively small team, so we want to do what we can to kind of push them up as best as we can, because a lot of them are taking this seriously, and they do want to compete, and they do want to not just get as far as 4th place or even 2nd place in DreamHack, but they want to be champions. We're gonna do our best to support them in their journey.
And if you want to support them as well, many avenues to do so. Let's start this off right off the bat. ! Matcherino in the chat. I see Light has posted that there. Unfortunately, we do not have a coupon code for this tournament, but if you are looking to support some of these 4 players here that have competed in our Duckling Showdown, we are more than happy to take that. And I'm sure our players are as well here. As the money goes directly to them.
Exactly. Massive shout out to Lord Loken in the chat. He contributed 100 USD to the prize pool. Thank you so much, Lord Loken. We appreciate it. Our players appreciate it. As Yaku was saying, 100% of the prize pool goes to our players. And it's thank you so much for the support. Thank you.
Absolutely. And that's for the players of this tournament. It's supporting the CranKy Ducklings in general. ! Patreon in the chat. You can pledge yourselves to become a Patreon contributor. Subscribe to the CranKy Ducklings channel. You at several different tiers. You support us, you support our players, and you get some really cool emotes as well. We just got 2 new ones coming down.
We did. We just got our CranKy the beautiful face, and CranKy Bedge for when it is time to go to bed, which I can guarantee some of us will be doing after this.
Not me. I'm wired.
Oh god damn it, Yaku, god damn it.
No, I'm trying to reset.
That's fair. Also want to give a massive shout out to all of our casters. Darking came on, Steel Mold as well.
His cam for the first time.
He used his cam for the very first time. Steel Mold was there with his Muppet. And thank you so much to Kuro, because Kuro, she was the one observing today, and she also made all of the overlays that we used today.
Of the overlays, she's the observer, she's a producer throughout all of this. And she's also stayed up to 5 a.m. to make sure that we're able to run this as smoothly as we can. Give some love to Kuro when you ! Discord in the chat.
Plenty of love.
Quite late over in the Bo land.
Exactly. And with that, we are done here with our Duckling Showdown. If you have any ideas for Duckling Showdown 2022, we'll take them. we'll consider them. We like to have a lot of fun with our showdowns.
Yeah, it is still very, very early on in the year. We do like to ideally go with a theme of something that has happened or something that has recurred throughout the year. But yeah, Discord and in the chat to find us if you do come up with any throughout the year. So let us know.
Definitely. And again, we're going to do our best to bring you more content, more casting, more StarCraft as much as we can. Our next broadcast, I believe, may be tomorrow. Obviously, we come every single week with ESL Pro Tour, with ESL Open Cup Asia, myself and Yaku. But before that, it's depending on how much we get to sleep, I may be casting a Polish tournament with Kuro.
About 9-ish hours, depending on how the tournament itself progresses.
Yes. Depending on how it progresses and depending if Kuro gets enough sleep.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh god. So yes, stay tuned for that. Follow us on all the social medias: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Join us on Discord for more content. Just keep in touch to be notified for when we go live. And we'll see you then.
Indeed, we will. Start 2022.
Exactly. As we head off again, massive shout out to our champion, Erik. Massive shout out to all of our players that competed today: Neo, Oreo, and StarDuck. You can even see some of them there in the chat. And thank you so much for all the support that we've gotten throughout all of 2021.
We started this organization 2017 with basically nothing. I remember in like 2019, 2020, we had some ideas of a pro team, but it was pretty much just ideas. Thanks to all of your support on Patreon, on Twitch, monetarily, and also just watching us and cheering us on, encouraging us to go even further. We've reached some pretty incredible heights from our humble beginnings.
Yes, and hopefully we can go higher. With that, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next time. Ciao.
Bella.